Hey yo, what is poppin', guys? And fuck the Patriots. Welcome to the NCL semifinals team builder going up against Jed and the Adelaide Overheat. Now, we are in semifinals coming off of that win against Hayden Mountain Dew Powder. So really looking forward to this matchup, and hopefully I can pull out a W and go to back-to-back finals appearances. That would be simply phenomenal for me. And yeah, really excited about this battle going up against Jed, who's he's been really improving over the years as a draft league battler, or over the seasons as a draft league battler. He definitely improved, and you can see in his draft that it's really scary against my team, and his record shows it. And also making the semifinals is no joke. It's the farthest he's ever gone in NCL, so definitely an accomplishment right there. But he has a terrifying team, man, and I'm just going to quickly go over it. Well, I'm not going to quickly go over it. I'm actually going to go pretty in depth with his team and with mine, just so I can get my point across, because with the matchup that's this horrendous, I'd like to say, I really need to go in depth with everything. So yeah, man, I'm jumping right into the team builder. He has a Mega Aggron, Landorus Team, Milotic, Rabombi, Rotom Heat, Gourgeist, Rampardos, Latias, Toxicroak, Sneasel, and the Porygon Z. So a lot of big threats against my team. Landorus T 6-0s me, Rabombi 6-0s me, Rampardos 6-0s me, Latias is terrifying, Toxicroak is terrifying, Porygon Z is terrifying. I have no switch-ins to a Porygon Z ever. If it's Specs Tri-Attack, dude, I have no switch-ins, so I really need to be careful about that. And yeah, Mega Aggron, I'm gonna jump into each mon individually. Mega Aggron is very scary. It can get up rocks pretty reliably against my team and can form a pretty decent defensive check to something like the Aerodactyl or the Heliolisk, depending on its set. But I feel like it's just there to get up rocks and to just switch in pretty easily to the Clefable if I'm not running Fire Blast. And you can see that I will not be running Fire Blast on my Clefable. So pretty good mon. I don't really think it's the best mon that he could possibly bring, but he could bring it for rocks, just a very solid rocker, and I think that's going to be the role that Mega Aggron is going to play. Lando T kind of 6-0s me with something like an SD Edge Quick Z Fly set. I have no switch-ins to that. Buzzwole and Aerodactyl are my ground resists, and Aerodactyl gets bobbed by Stone Edge. Can't really do anything back in the first place. And Buzzwole gets deaded by a Z Fly completely. Not even Koba lives it. So just a really scary Lando T. Scarf Lando T I don't really expect, just because it is definitely hard-walled by my Buzzwole. So I really don't expect that set to happen at all. But Landorus T is just very scary. And I think that SD through attacks Z Fly set is definitely what I'm expecting here. Milotic is very, very annoying for my team to deal with, because it can activate Marvel Scale, check my defensive Pokemon pretty well. And Spidef Milotic is really good check to my Mega Houndoom. It can take a lot of the hits except for Solar Beam, but it takes the Solar Beam pretty well. It can whittle me down pretty easily with Toxic, plus Rocks, plus Solar Power damage. So I really need to be careful with breaking Milotic. I really need that to be the priority for Mega Houndoom to just win at that point. So yeah, Milotic is just there to be fat and annoying. Classic Milotic stuff. Rabombi, Webs 6-0 me. I don't really like Webs. Webs Lando against my team is just terrifying. I don't really have anything for that. And my removal options are Aerodactyl and Torkoal, which are not the best removal options ever, so I really need to be careful about that. And even like a Quiver Dance Rabombi with a Life Orb is also pretty terrifying. Dual Stab, Psychic, QD just 6-0s me. It's really hard to check, but luckily Torkoal can take like one hit after Rocks at +1, so I really need to be careful about that Rabombi set. But I do think Webs are the best set here if he does decide to bring it. Rotom Heat is a pretty solid check to my Victory Bell and Sun, so I can definitely expect that to come. It's also a removal option. If I want to get up Rocks to chip his team down, it's probably his best removal on his team. So yeah, Rotom Heat is also really annoying pivot to deal with. The Gourgeist is pretty annoying. It can check my Garchomp to a certain extent, my Aerodactyl. My physical threats in general have a tough time breaking Gourgeist, but I don't think it has the best matchup here. I feel like all of his other Pokemon, except like Sneasel, have way better matchups than Gourgeist. And it's just there to be annoying. Toxic and Will-O-Wisp is probably what I'd expect, just to be annoying with Status, because I can't really deal well with Status, as I'm not bringing my Heal Bell Clefable. Rampardos also 6-0s me. Like, a Scarf set is really hard to deal with Fire Blast for the Buzzwole. Just very scary stuff. If he has Rock Polish, he needs Earthquake, he needs a Rock move, he needs Fire Blast or Ice Beam to hit my Buzzwole or my Garchomp respectively. So I really don't expect him to have a rock polish set, or I don't expect him to have a set that just 6-0s me completely. Scarf I can deal with because Buzzwole can take a hit, and then I can pivot into Garchomp or something like that, get some chip on it, and then I could kill it with an Earthquake or something like that. I just need to be really careful about how I play around the Gourgeist, or not Gourgeist, Gourgeist. Rampardos is just very terrifying with its stupidly strong attack stat, and sheer force is not fun. Latias, Life Orb Latias kind of does a lot against my team. It can surf my Steelix, which is probably my best check. It can T-Bolt my Slowking, which is another check I could possibly bring. It could also be a Scarf set with Trick for my Clefable, which is definitely possible. It's just very annoying offensively. It has better offensive presence in this matchup than defensive, I feel like. So I feel like Life Orb or like Scarf is definitely the way I expect. The wave I expect him to run it. Toxicroak, I don't really have the best checks too. Dual Stab, Nasty Plot, with Dark Pulse, something like that. It's just very scary. Its Dual Stab is really hard to deal with. But luckily Buzzwole can kind of switch into it relatively well, but I really need to conserve Buzzwole's health for something like the Lando T and stuff like that. So Toxicroak is definitely a really solid bring here, and its speed is really nice. You can pressure my Clefable, which I think he'll have trouble breaking if he does decide to bring a couple of the Pokemon that he doesn't if Aggron gets weakened. So I feel like Toxicroak is definitely viable. Sneasel, I don't really expect it all because Buzzwole's an easy switch, and then it can bulk up in its face or do whatever it wants really. So I don't really expect Sneasel to come at all, and it kind of risks a speed tie every single time against Mega Houndoom, and I don't think it kills with a low kick at all unless it's like Banded. So that's another thing. I don't expect Banded at all either. The only thing I would use it for is just for Pursuit Trap and Gengar. Other than that, it doesn't really have a role. So if he does bring Sneasel, it's not bad, because that means he has one less threat that I have to deal with. And Porygon Z, I have no switching to completely, like zero switching. Steelix doesn't. Steelix is humongously pressured here in this game, and that's my only normal resist outside of Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl doesn't want to take a Specs, try attack to the face, or even like a Z Hyper Beam adaptability set. Just a very scary Pokemon in general. I can't really do anything about that. So I had to play as if Porygon wasn't there. Just kind of a weird way to say it, because you need to prep for Porygon Z, but look at my team and look at PZ's adaptability try attack. It's just completely rips apart my team, so I really need to be careful about that. But yeah, that's enough about his team. You can see how many teams that I prepped for Jed. I had one with Steelix, I had one with a bunch of them with Aerodactyl, and I have my final one with up here, and also had Heliolisk on there a couple of times for the Milotic. So yeah, definitely I put a lot of thought into this team, and I'm really excited about this battle, but also really worried. And I'm just gonna click on this one, which is my final team, and let's just jump right into my team. First up, I have a Mega Houndoom, Dark Pulse, Fire Blast, Destiny Bond, and Solar Beam. It kind of 6-0s him really. Once Milotic and Rotom Heat are chipped enough, Solar Beam does like 70% to the Milotic. So once that's chipped enough to the point, which I can't expect with rocks and burn damage if it's Marvel skill and has the Flame Orb, I can definitely bop that thing with the Solar Beam pretty easily, and it can't really do much back because I am in Sun, but it can chip me down with a Scald or something, which is definitely pretty terrifying. But yeah, Dual Stab is really good here with Solar Beam. Pretty much hits everything on his team, and Destiny Bond is really nice because I outspeed Scarf Rampardos. So if I can Destiny Bond the Rampardos and take it out, that's just going to be really good for me. And in general, Destiny Bond is really good in case he has Latias that wants to kill me or something, Toxicroak that wants to go for a Vacuum Wave. I can live one, I believe, and then I can go for a Destiny Bond right after, force him to make a move, and I can go for a Fire Blast next turn. So in general, just Destiny Bond's really good. Porygon Z, if I need that thing dead and I don't need Houndoom anymore, I can Destiny Bond on that. So just a pretty standard set here, but with Destiny Bond and Solar Beam. No Nasty Plot because I couldn't really see myself setting up in front of like anything on his team. Latias probably has like Draco to just kill me straight up. So really scary stuff there. And next up to support my win con is my Torkoal, Lava Plume, Stealth Rock, Toxic, and Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin is key here. I definitely needed Torkoal for Spin to get rid of the webs on Ribombee, because webs kind of 6-0s me and nothing is levitating off the ground. And he could definitely bring webs to mitigate my Victreebel and Sun and my faster threats like the Houndoom and Garchomp potentially, and my Gengar, stuff like that. But yeah, this is also my Rocker. Rocks are really good against him. This pressures all of his Rockers. If he wants to defog in my face with Rotom, I can Toxic that thing, get that thing whittled down for my Victreebel, And Latias as well, I can Toxic that thing and make that like just completely weakened in general. And this also pressures his Rockers and Mega Aggron. Lando T, I don't think he has room for Rock, so I feel like it's just going to be Mega Aggron that's going to be the Rocker for sure. And if he does bring Rocks Lando, that's fine by me. I know it's set, and that means it can't really be a set that threatens me way too much. But yeah, just another straightforward set. It can take a couple of hits from certain things as well. It can take a Lando T Earthquake as well. So that's pretty cool if I need that, if I need to kill it with Lava Plume late game. Stuff like that. So yeah, really good stuff with the Torkoal, and pretty happy with this team, or with this build, and rapid spinning the webs are just going to be really good for me. And yeah, I also have another mitigation with the webs. Solar King, what did I just say? Slow King with lefties, Magic Coat, Scald, Ice Beam, and Slack Off. Now this is probably going to be my lead every single time, because his Rockers and Lando T and Mega Aggron, pretty much more Mega Aggron, are going to be his Rockers here. Potentially Rampardos, I don't see him bringing Rocks Rampardos at all. I can pressure all of those out if they want to go for Rocks turn 1, so they have to get it later. And I can also Magic Coat the webs that Rabombi might carry, because webs on my side are just going to be really good. The webs on his side are going to be really good, because the only thing that outspeeds, or the only thing that's floating off the ground, what I'm trying to say, is the Lando T and the Rotom. Rotom is probably not going to be very fast. Lando T I can outspeed normally if I can spin with my Torkoal, and Latias as well, I suppose. But I don't think speed will matter too much on that thing. It could be really good for my Houndoom, but if I Magic Coat the webs on Rabombi, it can just keep spamming webs against me, but I think the second turn I'm just going to go into Torkoal. If he goes for webs, I can spin them away unless he has Gorgas, which I don't really see him bringing at all, or I could throw it out with Lava Plume. So I have a pretty good option there, and I can take a couple of hits from Special Porygon Z and try to get a burn on that thing as well to chip it down. But yeah, just a pretty cool Slow King set. Magic Coat is really nice. Thank you for the suggestion, young Chesben. I really appreciate it. But yeah, cool Slow King set. I'm really happy with it as well. Victory Bell, just a really good win con in this game. Pressures my Lodic for my Mega Houndoom. So Mega Houndoom and my Victory Bell really break through each other really, really well. With Life Orb, Weather Ball, Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, and Knockoff. Knockoff is there in case I want to knock off a Lando T, Scarf in case I want to knock off lefties, Life Orb on Latias, on the switch in, whatever he wants to go for, and just classic special coverage here. I outspeed pretty much everything on his team, so that's really nice. And the Chlorophyll, Victory Bell looks like a really good win con here. After Rocks and just a little bit of chip, like 2% chip more on Rotom Heat, and that thing dies to a Sludge Bomb. So that's really good. I can just put in a lot of work with this thing. And I can take a Life Orb Sneasel hit from full. Well, not a Life Orb Sneasel hit, just a non-Life Orb Sneasel hit from full with a nice shard. So that's really good for me. Defense coming in clutch right there. And yeah, just a standard Victory Bell set. A lot of these things are standard, buying some like Magic Coat Slow King stuff. So I really didn't think over prepping for his threats are going to be the way to go here. I really need to bring something that I'm comfortable with, and something I know that can win, because Sun is such an easy thing to bring, man. That's why I love Sun on my team. Granted, I didn't bring Victory Bell a lot this season, but you can just slap on Sun there and say, hey, that's 6 O's. So it's beautiful. Its weather is beautiful like that, minus Hail. Hail isn't very good. Alolan Sandslash definitely has its checks, but something like an Excadrill and Sand, it does have its checks, but it's harder to deal with unless you have like an Almamola, one of the best checks in the game. But even that can get played around pretty well with a Toxic Spike, stuff like that. Sun, Mega Houndoom Sun has no switch-ins, just no switch-ins. Even like a resisted hit doesn't take it, and Rain is aids. In general, just weather is really good like that, and yeah, Victory Bell is just such a good Pokemon, man. I love it so much. But yeah, enough of that. Next up, I have my Clefable. Unaware because I don't want to lose to QD Rabombi or SD Lando T. Now, this isn't necessarily be my switch into Lando T, but it can mitigate it from sweeping my team, if that makes any sense. And Calm Mind Latias is definitely something that could potentially come. I don't really see it coming because Unaware Clef, it's a pretty easy bring on my end, but it does get chipped pretty easily. With something like Toxic, he could definitely bring Toxic on a lot of things to predict my Unaware Clefable, which is, again, an easy thing to bring. But yeah, Wish Protect is so good for my Torkoal because keeping my win cons very healthy are just going to be really, really good for me. And I Vise Beam over something like Heal Bell, because Lando is such a threat. I don't want to like get 40% off of it. I just want to kill it. It's a roll to kill after rocks, depending on investment. But I really didn't want to put in any more investment into special attack and take it out of defense, or I guess the special defense, but I really wanted as much defensive EVs as possible. So Ice Beam is there to do like a 90%, like very minimum to that thing, unless it's Yachi. But if it's Yachi, it's not Z-Fly, so I'm very happy with that. So yeah, I really like Fable set. Wishing up my Torkoal and my Houndoom and Victory Bell are just going to be so good for me. And that's pretty much why I brought it. And it's also a Dragon Resist. But this does invite in the Mega Aggron, but the thing is I can wish up my Torkoal, switch it in. It takes like an Earthquake really easily, and I can threaten out with the Lava Plume. I can go for my rocks, spin the rocks, stuff like that. So very useful set here, I feel like. And next up I have my Pseudo Wincon and Pseudo Rampardos check. Very interesting set here with the Buzzwole. Moose, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, and Bulk Up. Akaberry is really good because Fire Blast Rampardos is scary, and if I somehow get knocked off, I can live a Fire Blast from Scarf Rampardos from full. So that's really something good for me. And I outspeed a lot of his slower walls, which is really nice for me. As well, I can outspeed max speed Rampardos, so that's really good for me that I'm able to do that, and I can kill it with the Drain Punch, or at least almost kill it. They can't kill me back, so that's really good for me. Bulk Up, once something like the Rabombi, the Rotom Heat, and Latias go down, this thing pretty much wins the game completely. Milotic, I can't really 1v1, but I feel like my Houndoom and my Victory Bell can pressure that thing to the point where it can die. Or if he's not Marvel Skill, I can Toxic that thing with the Torkoal, and then I can pretty much win with Buzzwole. So it's a pseudo win con. Similar to last week, it can be a win con, but it's also there just so that Scarflando T doesn't destroy me, you know. I really want Scarflando T to be mitigated, and that's why I don't really predict Scarflando T, because I have one of the best Lando checks in the game that's not Z-Fly. I don't know why I said that sentence, but I did. But it's a good ground switch in. It's a really good ground switch in at that. Now, can also Hardwall, Sneasel, Physical, Toxicroak, stuff like that. And Mega Aggron. It does get Aerial Ace, so I have enough defense to live 2 Aerial Aces, which is incredible. I don't know if he'll bring Aerial Ace, but you have to be prepared. Scout's motto. So just a very scary team. Buzzwole, I'm going to be relying a lot. I need to keep it healthy. It's going to be really good for this game. And yeah, man, let's see how I do, and I'm going to jump right into the battle. And we're back with the battle against Jed and the Adelaide Overheat. The battle of the NCL semifinals, looking to be very exciting here. Now, he did bring a team consisting of the Landorus T, Mega Aggron, Latias, Rotom Heat, Porygon Z, Milotic. So, definitely a lot of threats that he brought with him. Porygon Z, I have no switch into, so that's fantastic. And Mega Aggron was probably the most expendable thing on his team, I felt like. I didn't really think that would come, but everything else I pretty much did expect to come. Milotic and Rotom are obviously there for my Sun team. Milotic handles Houndoom kind of well. Rotom handles the Victory Bell kind of well, but it's the best thing he has, so he definitely had to bring it, so understandable prep there. Now, looking at lead matchups, definitely want to lead Slowking. I don't want Rocks up on my end to pressure my Sun Core, and he could lead the Landorus Heat or Aggron to predict my Torkoal, and he can get up Rocks on his own and or pressure me out, so I'm definitely going to lead with my Slowking, pressure both of his Rockers. Now I am leading with my Slowking here, and I can get a free Scald as nothing wants to take it. Now it goes for a U-turn here into his Aggron. So that's fantastic for me. Unfortunately, no burn from this Scald, but switching into Aggron and taking 80 whatever % that early, that's just phenomenal for me. So I don't have to worry about Mega Aggron switching into my Clefable anymore, so that's just going to be really good for me. Now, U-turn on Lando was very interesting to me. I felt like he would only have U-turn on Lando if it was Choice Scarf. Now, if he was a Rock Polish Agility SD set, I feel like he had to have both of those and Edge Quick to hit my entire team for the best damage possible. Or if he was a single setup move, he needed Edge Quick and Z Fly for my Buzzwole. So I don't think he had room for U-turn anywhere on any of those builds. So definitely expect that Lando to be Scarf, which is phenomenal information for me, because that tells me that this Porygon Z is not Scarf, because dual Scarf against my team could be possible, but I really don't expect it to be the case. So that's just really good information for me.
right off the bat, in addition to me getting huge chip on this Aggron for later. So that's just going to be really good for me. Now, if he has max speed, he does outspeed and kill me. But if he has Thunder Punch, but I want to keep Slowking healthy as a check to the Latias as he goes for his rocks here, which is no big deal. I can spin away them, or I can spin those away later as I get a crit with my Drain Punch, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, that sucked a lot because it forces him to recover later. But he switches out, so I can chip him down with Flame Orb, and he does reveal to be Marvel Scale. Now I go for Protect here. Excuse me, I just had lunch. Just scout out whatever he wants to do, what move he wants to go for. And I am just going to go, and he goes for a U-turn, so I am just going to Wish Pass up here. See what he wants to do. Now I Protect here, get 3% of recovery back to see if he has a Choice Scarf Rotom. I don't want to be tricked on my Clefable. This is going to be huge this game, but that's just really good information for me. And I'm just going to go for my Wish here so I can wish something back up as he goes into his Milotic here, and I go into my Torkoal. Hopefully spin these rocks away, and I can take any hit from Rotom, so that was the safest play for me. I can spin these away, Toxic, get up my own rocks, so that's fine by me. He goes for the cover, so that's just a free rapid spin for me. And if I get up rocks, it pressures his Mega Aggron to the point where he can't really live anything from like anything on my team, so that's just going to be really, really good for me. Now I was thinking about getting up rocks there, but I didn't want any more chip on my Torkoal. As I go into my Victory Bell, force him to sack something pretty much to this thing, because Rotom doesn't take a Solar Beam into Sludge Bomb after rocks. And as he does sack off his Aggron, which is really good for me, because that means that there's no more rocks on my side, and that means his removal, or, well, I mean, you knew from the start that his removal is probably going to be Rotom, which is shut down by rocks, and Latias, that can also have Defog. But that's just really good for me that he sacked off his Mega Aggron. Switching in his Scald turn 1 was definitely really good for me. As he goes into his Rotom, now I did predict either an Overheat or Defog, and that's fine by me. This Houndoom switch covers both, and I can switch to virtually everything on this, or he has no switch-ins to this thing, so as I go for my Dark Pulse, get some really, really good chip off against that Rotom that he can't get back because he has leftovers, I believe he revealed. Yes, he has leftovers, so I thought he was a berry at first, but yeah, he has leftovers, and that's damage that he can't get back. So that's just going to be really good for me. Rocks are going to put him in range of everything, like even a Solar Beam from Mega Houndoom, so that's really good. As he goes into his Lando to pressure me out, and I go into my Save Buzzwole play, as he goes for a regular Fly here. So a very interesting set here. Now I'm just going to go into my Clefable so I can wish things up, maybe my Victory Bell. That's looking kind of low right now, so that's 67, I can wish that back up if I wanted to. But I go for Protect here to scout out if he had Trick on his Latias as well, which was a fair play on my end. But he goes for the Wish himself, so this Latias is proving to be a very big nuisance. He can freely go into his Rotom because I did reveal that I don't have Toxic, although I could, because I haven't revealed Ice Beam yet for the Lando. I could have Toxic, but I go into my Torkoal here so I can get up my own rocks, and all this damage that I'm taking from Rotom I can wish back up, and I can go back to full health as he goes into his Lando. I want to force that thing in as he go back into my Clefable here. Clefable is just a broken Pokemon, man. Like, its stats are not bulky at all, but look, it's just so bulky. It's so annoying for teams. It doesn't make any sense. Clefable is one of those Pokemon that doesn't make any sense, dude. It doesn't have the stats to be a wall, but its ability and its typing just make it a wall for no... It's just incredible, man. I love Clefable. But right here, I can go for my Wish here. I can cover the... Or I go for my Protect here. It's got what he wants to do. And right here, I can Wish right here. Right here, I can Wish right here. Very good sentence right there. So I can take any Overheat and Sun, and I can protect it off later. I want to keep this Clefable healthy as possible, so I can switch into the Landers pretty well, and I can take a hit from Porygon Z. So that's exactly what I'm going to do as he goes into his Lando. Now, I don't expect a U-turn to come out, because that's what he's been doing the entire time, and he knows he can take any Moonblast. But I go for the Ice Beam and bop it completely. That does 93%, 90 Buckaroonies. So that puts it in range of rocks if I get those up, and he's really pressured to defog since his removal option is weak to rocks, and I believe this Latias definitely does not have defog since his Rotom has it. So such a fantastic turn for me, because I get this Lando to the point where I can't really do anything anymore. So it's just really good for me. I go for my Wish here, and I do want to keep this Clefable healthy, so I go for my Protect here on his Recover, so that's fine by me. Him recovering didn't really mean much to me. But right here, I am able to go into my Torkoal here, because I know I can take every hit, get up my own rocks, put his Lando down, and I can chip down his Rotom as well. And if that decides to come in, I am able to get a Toxic off on it if it does come in, which it exactly does. Now, I can't take a Volt Switch from this range after Toxic, but I do predict a Defog, and I get a Toxic off on this thing, which is so good. Toxic on this Rotom Heat is just going to be phenomenal for me, because that means Victreebel is the best win con here, easily. Even though Latias is pretty healthy, I expect that to be pretty spadef for my Victreebel as well. Ooh, bars. But getting a Toxic off on this thing means his Defog is very, very pressured, so I can get up rocks much easier against his team. Now I'm going to switch out because I don't want my Torkoal to die, because Houndoom and Sun and Victreebel and Sun are going to be very good win cons here. I think it goes for a Volt Switch here. So the pivoting on his team is very nice here with his U-turn and Volt Switch Pokemon. So it's just very annoying for me to deal with. But I do go for my Wish here with my lefties being knocked off. So that's very annoying for me that I'm taking a lot of chip every turn. But you know what, Clefable is still going to be annoying, which doesn't make any sense. It's getting chipped every turn with Burn. It doesn't have the stats to be fat, but again, it's just a wall. Look how much that Overheat did in Sun. Nothing. Yum, yum, yum. Clefable's broken, dude. Clefable's ridiculous. But I do go for my Protect here, because I do want to be healthy for the Lando, like I said before, stuff like that. As he goes into the Latias, and this is just a stall war. Not a Star Wars. A stall war between my Latias, or his Latias and my Clefable, just switching the entire team back up. But I do have the upper hand since he does not have rocks and I do. I'm able to get up rocks with my Torkoal. So it's just going to be really good for me. And it's just going to be very annoying. And you can see how little that Moonblast did. So very good EVs there on Jed's end. Taking like nothing from Moonblast. Now he goes for Reflect type. And I'm thinking, okay, Wish, Reflect type, Calm Mind. He's brought one of those sets before where he was Calm Mind with Wish. Like a setup variant with Wish, so I'm wondering if he is that variant, and it could potentially stall out my Clefable. So it's pretty worrying at this point. But he, I don't know why this symbol shows up. It is currently Water and Psychic type right now with the Reflect type. So very interesting prep. I don't know what Reflect type was exactly for, but it's pretty annoying to play around, I'd have to admit. Now I go for my Wish here as he goes into his Rotom, and it's healed back up to full, which is so annoying for me. I want to go for my Protect. Now right here I need to play more conservatively, I realize, with my Wishes and my Protects, because right now I am pretty low on Wish. Not too much to the point where I need to be concerned, but definitely I need to keep track of my Wish count as I use another one right here. I can go to my Torkoal here, heal it up. Now I expect this thing to Wish back up, or whatever he wants to go for. I don't really expect it to attack a Clefable right here. As he goes for a Reflect type, so he becomes a Fire type, pure Fire type, and I can get at my rocks right here, so that's really good for me. I can kill his Lando, pressure his Rotom even more with the Defog, and now that it's Toxic, it's just pressured even more. So I go for my knockoff right here to chip down the Latias, which is definitely the best thing for me to do, because that means it does get two-shot by Clefable. As I get a crit there, but I don't think that ends up mattering that much, because I am able to just switch back up into Clefable very easily here. It can't really touch me at all. As he goes for a Reflect type right here, as he goes back up to full, that's fine by me, because I can just switch back up myself, and he can't do anything to me. So I wish back up into my Mega Houndoom and start to pressure his team immensely. Now I go for my Fire Blast here, which does 56% in Sun. Mega Houndoom is ridiculous in Sun. That's just so much damage that should not be possible to a Rotom Heat. But you know what happens, and I'm just going to go for my free Dark Pulse here, because chipping this thing to the point where I'm pressuring the Defog out right here, it's going to get really low with Toxic, and it's out of range of rocks, unfortunately. So if he wishes this back up, it is going to be out of range of rocks. So that kind of sucks, but you know what, that's a game. It's not like hacks or anything, it just sucks for me. But you know what, yeah. Just gonna go into my Clefable here, go for a Wish here. I'm pretty low right now, 11%. Clefable, please don't die on me, but I'm just gonna go for Protect here very easily, and I can get all my health back, and a pretty decent amount of health right here. And right here, I'm just gonna go for another Wish. As I am getting chipped, look how much net health that gave me. That gave me 13%, but I am just gonna go into my Victreebel, realizing that I need this thing to be healthy as possible. As I get 73% or 67% back right now. And I can go out into my Torkoal, because he can't really do much to me. I expect him to switch out, if anything, and that means I can get up my rocks. I can go for my Toxic, but I want to get up my rocks here to pressure the Lando and the Rotom, because it's so low, but I accidentally misclick and go for Toxic, which really sucks because that gave him a pretty free turn to Milotic and just more toxic chip with no benefit on mine. So misclicking there definitely sucked because this Rotom would have been pressured really low, and yeah, getting up rocks would have been nice, but alas, I misclicked and clicked toxic. I would never wanted to click toxic there, although it would have been nice against a Latias, but you know what, that's fine by me. I do want to click toxic on a Latias eventually, or pressure it out somehow. But yeah, to go for my Solar Beam right here as I get a crit, which kind of sucks, but I'm just going to go for the Sludge Bomb and sack this Victory Bell off because I realized that this can't be really a win con, and I needed to put this Latias down completely. As he goes for the Earthquake here, and I go down to the burn. So you can see that the crit on the Latias didn't matter because he is going to sack it off regardless to my Houndoom, which is his best play. I can go for my Solar Beam right here, and he can't wish back up his Rotom, which is so good for me. So good for me, and that means that Mega Houndoom Fire Blast is going to be really good for me. As I go into my Buzzwole here, as he goes for the U-turn, so pretty good play on his end right there as he goes into his Rotom Heat, and that's just getting more chip than toxic. And I can go into my Slowking here as he misses an Overheat, which kind of sucks, but didn't matter in the end because I do pressure this thing out with a Scald, but I am just going to slack off here. And if he hit the Overheat and Sun, slack off plus regen, me switching out, equals that, so that miss didn't really matter that much. As you go into my Clefable, and hopefully I live a Scald, but I am just going to sack it off here because I didn't really need to heal up anything anymore because the Stall Wars have been ended with the Latias dying, so I didn't really need it anymore. As I go into my Torkoal to get up Sun, now this is where the end game is near. I get up my Rocks as he goes into the Rotom, and I realize I need to keep my Torkoal healthy so my Houndoom can kill the PZ, because right now this PZ is looking like a huge threat to my team, huge. I need to keep Buzzwole alive for sure, so I don't need to lose to Scarf Earthquake from Lando. I need to keep it healthy, so I can take one hit from any kind of Porygon-Z unless it's like Specs. And I need to keep my Torkoal and Houndoom healthy so I can kill the Porygon-Z with Dark Pulse and Sun. So this is all information and Pokemon that I need. Slowking is definitely the most expendable member at this point, but I do go into my Houndoom, start to pressure his team out, and I can kill anything I want with a Solar Beam. So that's just fine by me. I pressure out the Defog, and right now he has no more Defog because he does sack off the Rotom right here. So that means if I get up Rocks again, his Lando is definitely dead, and Porygon-Z is in range of a Dark Pulse after Rocks. So that's fine by me. I go into my Buzzwole, and I can boost back up here because my priority is keeping this thing at 100% HP so I can live any hit from Porygon-Z. Bars once again. I am fire. I spit it. That's why I have a Sun team. But I go into my Slowking because this is the most expendable member on this team, as I can just pivot around his team. I go into the Houndoom here, predicting like a Recover or whatever he wants to go for, maybe another Toxic if he wants to switch out. I'll go for my Solar Beam here, get some incredible chip on this thing, put it in range of anything, and I know I can live any hit from the Milotic. So I do end up going for my Solar Beam there, and I put it in range of a Dark Pulse, even outside of Sun. So that's just really good for me. Now I do want to keep my Houndoom healthy because again, it does kill the Porygon-Z in Sun after some chip. As I go into my Slowking right here on the fly, and this thing I don't really need anymore. I can just slack off and Scald this thing. As I go for a Scald here for no reason, I kind of misplayed right there because if I slacked off, I'm out of range of a Porygon hit, and if it takes a Scald to the face, it dies to a regular Houndoom outside of Sun anyway, so I really didn't think Scald was ever the play. I should have slacked off there, and I could take a hit and then kill it next turn, but unfortunately I do have to take chip with my Torkoal, which I'm fine with sacking because 8 turns is more than enough turns for me to win the game, as he's gonna go for another fly right here, but fortunately I do live to get out my rock, so if he switches out and comes back in, he's dead, and if he is if he sacks this thing, this Porygon-Z is in range of a Mega Houndoom hit. So I go for my slack off here because no point doing anything else. I can go for my Scald here and finish off the Landorus T, which is the last thing that I needed to win the game. Porygon-Z is all that's left, and it's still a very scary threat. If it Agility's here, depending on the set, he can actually win the game. Agility with, it can be Agility, Tri-Attack, Hidden Power Flying, and Ice Beam, or Thunderbolt. It needed like 5 moves to win the game, so I really didn't think this Porygon-Z had a chance against me. And if he was Scarf, I can live every hit with Buzzwole and I can kill it with a Drain Punch. And if it was Specs or Life Orb without a Scarf, then my Mega Houndoom can kill it, and that 3 turns are more than enough time for me to kill that thing, so I don't have a worry. Now I played this Porygon Z, or I played the I played the Porygon Z to the point where it does get the physical boost, because if it is return, I can just snack on that with Buzzwole and kill it off with a Drain Punch, and it can't kill me with anything. And right now I do go into my Buzzwole knowing that if he is Scarfed, then he can't kill me with a Thunderbolt, and if he's not, then I kill with a Mega Houndoom. So I go for my Drain Punch here and finish off with Porygon Z. Now that is how the end game plays out. I did play that very meticulously with my Buzzwole and the Porygon Z, and just a very good game to Jed. He played very well. Turn 87, pretty long game, but very entertaining, and made me think a lot about how to play my Clefable, my Sun, my Slowking, everything. Made me really think about my play. So definitely very good game to Jed. Congrats on making it to semifinals. It's actually his the highest he's ever been, not the highest, farthest he's ever gotten in NCL. His last season, I believe he made quarterfinals, or was it the season before? I don't remember, but he did make quarterfinals at one point, and he did unfortunately lose. Now making semifinals is no joke. It's the top 4 teams in the entire league, so definitely big shout out to Jed. He's definitely improving as a player, and he definitely gave me a challenge here. Very hard matchup, just an incredibly hard matchup actually. But he did play very well against my team. Wish Latias was definitely something that I didn't really expect, but it did come, which was very good prep on his end, and just a really good game to Jed. Now I really recommend you guys check out Jed's channel, Bionic Soup. I'll leave a link in the description below. He actually recorded his entire season of NCL without any breaks. So definitely a really good content creator right there, and I recommend you check out his side of the battle. He recorded every game of NCL, and I enjoy his videos. So yeah, man, I will leave that in the description below. And your Tampa Bay Weasels are going to the NCL finals, going up against Frostfire 14 and the LA Latios. Now, LA Latios, Cade, Frost, whatever you want to call him, he was the season 1 winner of the NCL, and the kind of the underdog here. I lost last season's championship, and I never won one in the NCL. So back-to-back finals is something I'm proud of, but none of that matters if I don't win it all, you know. And you know, it's just going to be a really good game against Frostfire, and I'm really excited for that battle, man. So good luck to him, and congrats to Jed for making it in semifinals. Definitely really good run this season, and yeah, man, really excited for my finals. Again, this is going to be my 6th finals appearance in any league, 6 or 7, something like that, and I only have 2 championships, so you know what, I really want to change that, man. I'm going to get 5 championships before I retire completely from the format. So mark my words, this is going to be my 3rd, hopefully, and yeah, man, really excited for this opportunity. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me, and like always, have a swell day.